Aries, this is your week ahead astrology forecast by Astrology Motivation from Born Without Boundaries. In these weekly videos, I review the major planetary aspects and transits and how they impact your natal sun and what that means for your bottom line. All you need to know to understand this video is your birthday. That's it. Everything else I'm going to translate for you. This is for the week of August 17th to the 23rd of 2023. Got my notes ready. You're ready. Let's go. Let's start out big. We're going to start out with the big stuff, the broad, so like the current charts. And then I'm going to focus down the information into Aries specific information and stuff that Aries just are going to be vibing and you need to know about. And then we'll break things down into the decans of Aries that will help me understand how your natal suns are being impacted. What is a decan, you ask? A decan is just like an array or a group of 10 degrees, put it simply. It's a group of 10 degrees. And every zodiac sign has 3 of them because every zodiac sign is a total of 30 degrees. Now, these aren't actual demarcations in the sky. This is just organizational structures that astrologers add to the chart to be able to see what aspects are forming and who's going to be most impacted by them. Because we all know that not all Aries are impacted in the same way. I don't know who invented the old school horoscope, and I think it was actually relatively modern. But that's where I think astrology really started to get crapped all over, because it's not astrology. As horoscopes are just bad astrology. So let's get into some good astrology, shall we? All right, let's go. Big things that are happening this week. We actually got a couple of them. Happy new moon, by the way. I hope all you guys loved the new moon yesterday. I gotta tell you, it was kind of a shit storm. It kind of felt like that. But I also kind of feel like in some ways it revealed a lot of things that we need to look at if we want to be able to build something strong. And this is a time for dynamic change, but not in the way of, taking a hard left or a hard right. Dynamic change in that comes only through sticking to something and sticking to a plan, because that's the change that matters and lasts. And this concept that it will never happen and you'll never be able to do it, and that's the illusion that's happening right now, that it's never going to be possible. They want to make you so afraid you give up, is what I'm trying to say. The powers that be, the badness wants to make you give up. But let me tell you something. If you have found your faith, there is no way that you can give up, because you're not doing it for the validation or the income and I know in the real world we all need to pay rent and feed ourselves and our children. I understand that. But when you follow in faith, you know that the universe provides 100% all the time. So this is where we've got to screw our faith to the sticking place, be courageous, and move forward slowly. It is, after all, retrograde season. We're about to have, this is another big one. Mercury goes retrograde on the 23rd. Bada bing. Same day. I think it's early in the morning in the States that it goes in. But it goes into retrograde, and we're already feeling it. We're already feeling that slowing down. Mercury's moving very slowly now. So, dude, I'm sure that you're already feeling like the hiccups in your batteries or your cell phones and stuff not working. But yes, that is it. That is what's happening. So then we also have on the 23rd the sun entering Virgo. Ain't that some? Ain't that some? Because you have the sun entering Virgo while Mercury in Virgo is going retrograde. All of this week, and this directly impacts you guys, Mercury is also conjunct to Mars. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in depth, because there's a lot going on with Mars. Absolutely. On the 22nd of this week, the sun is going to finally go in opposition to Saturn. I say the 22nd because I really only count aspects once they're within 5 degrees of each other. I like really tight aspects, but you could say up to 8 degrees out, so it will start a little bit earlier, say the 20th. Sun opposite Saturn is feeling oppressed. It's feeling like people are trying to restrict you or hold you back, and really, really building up this need to rebel and push. But the truth is this: we're in retrograde season, y'all. we're supposed to be slowing down. We should be laughing at this shit. We should be saying, of course I was going to slow down. I'm on vacation, bitch. It's summer. Right? Like this, it's almost this sense of somebody trying to make you, put the pressure on you to make you feel like something's going wrong when it's not. It's actually not. But they want to break you. This pressure. We're going to get into it more. We also have Venus square to Jupiter trine to Chiron. And the moon is going to be square to Venus and opposite Jupiter on the 23rd. So let's review. On the 23rd, the moon is going to be opposite Jupiter because the moon is going to be in Scorpio. Moon is at its fall position in Scorpio, not so comfortable, really frozen, not feeling the way that it should in opposition to Jupiter. That's another piece of pressure right there. And then the sun is also opposite to Saturn as it moves into Virgo. Can you say paranoia? Can you say fear? Can you say just ridiculously emotional? On the 23rd, this is a ridiculously emotional day because the moon is opposite Jupiter and square to Venus. It is so mellow fucking dramatic on that day. And yeah, it's going to impact all of us. These are big vibes, dude. There's also a grand trine that is happening between Mars, Uranus, and Pluto. What does that mean? It's almost like lackadaisical. Like, I'll tell you what it means. I wrote it down. It's a grand earth trine. The deception is the thing, the deception is that things are how they are, that they're never going to change, and you're not going to get anywhere. That's the deception. Because you have this grand trine that's kind of making lackadaisical with everything that you see, right? It's in Earth. So everything that you see is what you see is what you get. Nah. What you see is what you have. And what you get is how you use what you have to build what you want. And you can't forget how powerful you are when all these fucking energies are trying to convince you otherwise. And that's really, really, really what you've got to dig down into this week. It is so necessary. It is so important. Please, please don't believe them. Look at what you've got and then think, how do I build what I want? Or how do I build the steps to get the other resources to get what I want? That's what life is, guys. It is linear, but it can be productive. And don't forget that. Once again, I say on the 23rd, this could be a very difficult date. Not for the weak of heart. It will take all your faith to not succumb to pleasures and be led by your insecurities to sort of overcompensate. Like, oh, let me do that more food. Let me do more drugs. Let me do, more sex, or, act upon all those insecurities because you're really afraid that you can't make things happen. Don't let that shit turn you back now. Don't do that. You know why the pressure's on so much? Because we've got great beauty ahead. It's like the devil only tries to attack you when you're about to win. And that's what the devil is, fear. Fear. Because the devil doesn't really have any power on this earth. The only power the devil has is to convince you that you have none. You see? You see? So it'll make you sabotage yourself. What do you want? What do you see? And what do you know that you are capable of? And even if you don't know you're capable of it, what has God given to you? How has God spoken to you and told you, but I know you can do it? Right? That's what we really have to stick to right now. Very necessary. Let's talk about Mars. Now here, this is where I break down Aries energy. So I look at Aries, like what's going on in the zodiac sign of Aries. And then I look at its ruling dignitary, which you always should look at. Know your ruling dignitary because it always kind of seasons and flavors everything about you and your day and your week. It absolutely does with where your ruling dignitary is, like what zodiac sign it's in and what is aspecting it will always kind of flavor your energy. So we have Mars in Virgo moving at its regular speed. It's the only one not going. It's the only planet that won't be in retrograde by September 3rd. All the rest of them will. And then Venus will pop out of retrograde on September 4th. So we have Mars. It's in Virgo, and it's going to move between 23 degrees and 27 degrees. Wow, there's something about the 23 here. Something going on here. Trying to sabotage shit here. Don't believe it. Mars is conjunct to Mercury, which is actually very bright. But with these opposition to Neptune, both of them together, opposite Neptune, it could trick you to make your brightness, turn your brightness into what you build your own cage instead of your own bridges, right? So got to listen to that low self-esteem stuff and where it's coming from. And then we have a trine to Uranus. Trine to Uranus is we're looking for change. We're looking for differences. We're even kind of almost really accepting of things that don't make much sense. Then we have a semi-square to Venus, which means there could be stubbornness or difficulties, a little bit little challenges when it comes to what we value, like our value systems, right? Could even be money, constantly challenging us. Trine to Uranus is asking us to be inventive, be ingenuitive. Don't look at what's in front of you and only see it as what it is. Look at the potential for what it could be or where it could lead you. And the trine to Pluto, it is such an energy of dynamic change. If we don't get complacent by thinking we have to accept things as they are. And that's where the genius of Uranus comes in and says, I'm gonna think outside the box. I'm gonna reconstruct this whole box. Right? And Pluto it doesn't have to be the same, it shouldn't be the same. It's time to change. So think about that. It's that opposition to Neptune, and then of course the sun's opposition to Saturn. That's trying to deceive us and make us believe that what we've got is what there is, and that's all there ever will be, and feeling stuck and tempting us to act upon those insecurities. Just an FYI. In Aries itself, the zodiac sign of Aries, we have Chiron at 19 degrees. It's been there for a while. And then we have the North Node at 26 degrees. It will stay at 26 degrees all week. So, major conjunctions for Aries 2 and Aries 3, really more toward the end of Aries season. So if you were born between 19 degrees Aries and 29 degrees Aries, you're going to feel the most kind of interactive energy right now because of those other elements conjuncting your natal suns. What did I just say there? What am I talking about? Okay. So, if you know that your natal suns are between 0 and 9 degrees Aries, they are in the first decan, or the first group of 10 degrees of the Aries zodiac sign, and you are an Aries 1. How would you know this? You get your natal chart. And it's free, and you can get that, and this is not a commercial. Just go to any website. Just search free natal chart, free birth chart. You need your birth date, time, and place. Go ask your mama. And you should be able to get that information pretty easily. It is public information. And then just enter it in those websites, and in a few seconds, they pop out your full natal chart. It's really easy to do. So if you know that your natal sun is between 0 and 9 degrees Aries, you are an Aries 1. When it comes to birth dates, this correlates to Aries that are born in March. So it'll be March 22nd to say March 30th, 31st. Yeah, 30th, March 30th. March has 30 days. I know when I'm doing all this thing. So it could be up to April 1st, right? So March 22nd to about April 1st. The thing about you guys this week is that there's not a lot aspecting your natal suns unless you're at the very cusp. So I would say the cusp between Taurus and Aries. So that would be March, I'm sorry, no, not Taurus. So Pisces and Aries. And that would be March 2nd, March 22nd, March 23rd. It's only really you guys that are going to be feeling these following impacts. It is your natal suns that are going to be conjunct to Neptune only if you're at the cusps. So say, I guess, March 20, if your birthdays are March 22nd, 23rd, and if you are a March 21st Aries, absolutely. That would be you guys that are conjunct to Neptune, because your natal suns would still be within a 5 degree, within a 5 to 8 degree orb, or distance from Neptune. Conjunct to Neptune, you will then feel this opposition to Mars and Mercury, even though your natal suns aren't really close enough to be really impacted by really opposite themselves, because they're only at about 23 to 26 degrees Virgo this week. So, but you'll feel it. There's sort of an activation there that could generate a sense of self-deception, since you're conjunct to Neptune, being really, really distracted by a lot of information that may be misinformation, or putting facts together in the wrong order, being very susceptible then to be easily led or misled, as it would be. So just an FYI for those of you born at the cusp. There's also a semi-square to Jupiter for you guys, so for all of you guys, all of Aries 1. So that could also make you want to jump to things or move extra quick and be a little extra optimistic, which will play against your vulnerability this week of believing things, especially if they're too good to be true. There's an optimism here that could be very easily fooled, easily tricked, or easily used against you. This is something that you should just be aware of, FYI. Oh, count to 10 before you respond. Definitely not the greatest time to make important decisions or sign contracts or sign your life away, because somebody might ask you to. Especially cuspers, this is something to be very, very wary of, and ask for different opinions, and don't try not to make a decision until after these oppositions start to break up in a couple of weeks. Just an FYI. Let's go on to Aries 2. If you know that your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Aries, it's in the second decan of Aries, and you are Aries 2. So your natal suns, especially if you're born around the 9th, 10th, maybe 11th of Aries, your natal suns are conjunct to Chiron. This conjunction to Chiron has been and will be for the next year, and this is sort of the essence of you finding inspiration and purpose to actually address and learn and heal, using the experiences that you've had that have caused you pain as motivation, as well as guides to fix things, change things, and figure things out, open up opportunities for yourself, or find hope from all that you've been through. So that could be actually very beautiful. Your birthdays would be, this is an estimate of course, but say April 2nd through the 11th would be in and around there for you guys. Your natal suns are also trine to Venus, so there's actually some harmony that's coming through when it comes to romantic relationships, finances, feeling desired, being desirable, feeling very attractive, being very attractive. It is a wonderful time. Even though with Venus in retrograde, I wouldn't make any extreme changes, to how you look, but you will still reap the benefits of sort of this nostalgic romanticness, and that could be really beautiful energy this week. And then we have a semi-square to Saturn. Could represent career stagnation over this next year, dealing with stubbornness or unwillingness to change inside of yourself, since it is semi-square to your sun. So it could be that you just don't want to change that much, or you're a little bit wary of making any big career changes. FYI, that would be for the whole year. But this week, it's primarily that Venus trine to your natal sun that is really going to offer a lot of beauty in your life this week. And then we have Aries 3s. So if you know that your natal sun is between 20 and 29 degrees Aries, it's in the third decan of Aries, and you are Aries 3. Birth dates that correlate to this would be from around the 12th to the 22nd of April. In and around there. Estimates, but in and around there. If you're in Aries and you were born on the 23rd of April, then absolutely, because you know where your sun is and it was absolutely in Aries, then 100%, absolutely, that would be you too. It's your natal suns that are conjunct the North Node, which is really all about you awakening to consciousness and personal responsibility and authority, and how you have to mold or organize your life. Like being able to have sort of a conscious grip on your capabilities or your responsibilities now. That might not be the easiest time for you, but it can be a very productive time, and it will change who you are in terms of your maturity levels, your talents, your skills, and maybe even your interests. That's going to be Aries 3 through, say, the next 5 or 6 months for you guys. Your natal suns are going to be trine the sun this week. So there's a lot of optimism, courage. There's a lot of self-driven purpose, and also being seen, feeling comfortable with who you are, like wanting people to look at you or welcoming them to look at you. There's a lot of charisma here. So people will be paying attention to you. You also have a quincunx to Mercury and quincunx to Mars. Quincunx to the Mercury-Mars conjunction. What does that mean? There's going to be some information or some ideas or understanding or a job that you have to put things in order. That's really going to be a kind of a spur in your side this week, right? It's going to be frustrating and it's going to be agitating because there are going to be some stumbling with it, or some blockages or obstacles or challenges to getting things done or making a decision or being able to figure things out so that they will actually work. Now, this is extra necessary then for you to slow down and not rush things and not try to get answers this week that don't really make all the sense they should. If it has to slow down, it has to slow down. Wait for the correct information. That's all I gotta say. I love you guys so much, and I hope that you will subscribe to this channel and then come on over to Born Without Boundaries Tarot for your week ahead tarot card message. I love you, and I'll talk to you next week.